but it was very rough. You see how the actual environment there, the snow that you see, it's the glacier, it's part of the glacier, and the rocks, it's all like that. And the glacier itself does not stay, it's always sliding down slowly. At least 4 inches per year it slides down. So it means that it's not stable. Every year when you set up a tent, you have to clear out the rocks. And happily, the Sherpas who were guiding us did that for us too, and set up our tent, and we stayed there for 5 days at the base camp. I found that a little difficult. It's a bit rough, yeah. So, because Makivik supported me, I'm showing off the Makivik flag in this photo at the base camp of Mount Everest. I mentioned Sean, who was a professor at the University of Ottawa, and his plan was to climb up to the summit and to become the oldest Canadian. He was 63 that year in 2005, and to become the oldest Canadian to summit Everest. Before any climber starts climbing the Mount Everest to try to reach the summit, there's usually a ceremony, and it's a Buddhist ceremony. A monk comes up to the base camp, and a stupa, like a cairn of rocks, is set up with the prayer flags, and then everyone shares something to eat and something to drink and some tea. And the monk, the Buddhist monk, resides over the ceremony. And that was done for Sean. Unfortunately for Sean, who was our expedition leader, he did start climbing, but then he got ill, and on his way back down to get better, his heart stopped and he died. After we had left, you know, it was very, very sad for us to learn about that when we did, because we had gotten to know him. We had just spent 3 weeks, a month with him, and it was a very sad occasion at that time. And I'm quite, you know, it was quite disappointing to see his death, because he was such a strong supporter for Inuit participation in such an expedition. Here we see the image of the ice falls, and in front of the ice falls is my little mouse that my son gave me before I left. And so we did this special thing of taking photographs of whatever our friends gave us in front of the ice falls, so that we'd have something to show them when we got home. But the ice falls are very special. One morning when, just looking at the image, you see it doesn't look very large, but one morning when I went to go and pee outside, I was looking toward the ice falls, and I saw these little moving specks, black specks, and they were moving upwards. And first I was wondering what they were, but then looking more closely, I realized that these were trekkers. If you can see them, they're here. They look indeed very, very small. So you can imagine the size of the ice falls. The ice falls are, you need ladders to cross the crevices of the ice falls, and sometimes people fall into the crevices. It's quite dangerous, and they break their legs or arms, and sometimes they don't come back. And but this ice fall is the first step you have to take from base camp, and when you reach above that, it's base camp 1, and then there's a base camp 2, a base camp 3, and a 4. And every time that you go up to these different levels of base camps, you stay there for a day or 2 to adjust your body. Come back down to the base camp and then climb again. And it's a very long process because it takes a lot of patience, time, energy. And as you climb higher and higher, the body is using less oxygen, so you eat less. You don't need to eat as much. And that's why people, when they've been up there, they come back down very thin. So if ever you would like to lose all those extra pounds, perhaps that would be a good idea to go in. So anyhow, it was a very worthwhile experience just to see what it was like at base camp. And my idea to reach that base camp was to see whether it would be then worthwhile for me to try climbing the summit later on. And after, reflecting on it once in a while, I decided, no, I don't want to go and try to reach the summit. I think my mountains will be different mountains, I think, because I find it too risky, and I just don't want to risk my life for, I don't know. Why do people climb Mount Everest? Some it's to challenge themselves physically, and also for the fame. But most of the time, I think it's to see inside of them how far they can push themselves, to see how much they can achieve with this type of challenge. So it all depends on whether you want to achieve or try to reach for that goal and give yourself that challenge. So instead of climbing Everest, I'd rather give myself different challenges. So that's probably like to set goals for yourself is very important. I think once you reach one goal and you've achieved it, it's wonderful. Then you go for another goal and focus on it. And it's important too to sometimes write your dreams. We have dreams, and as soon as we can say what our dream is, we'll do what is necessary to achieve our dream. And so I'm going to stop here for now, and perhaps you have questions you would like to ask. And how much time do we have, Trevor? Okay. Yes. Hi. What did we eat when we were over there? It's we ate food that the cooks cooked for us, and sometimes it was curry. It was often food from Nepal, and so Indian style food, fish. I think anything that we can find here, beef. We also it was not very, very different, the food. Yeah. There was on a special occasion. As we were going back down, Ivan and I, Ivan is my spouse, we walked down with one Sherpa. The other members of the expedition had taken a helicopter down because they were very tired. But we wanted to take more pictures. We wanted still a further experience. So as we were walking down, instead of staying in tents, we stayed in lodges. And our guide was always mentioning, because we passed by a market one time, said, Tibetan tea, Tibetan tea. Oh, he wants Tibetan tea. And I said, oh, I'd like to try Tibetan tea. Can we have a Tibetan tea, please? So one night we were served a Tibetan tea. And I watched the lady make the Tibetan tea, and it's mixed with yak butter and salt a little bit of salt, not too much, and it's a hot, like buttery, slightly salty tea. It was very nice. Yeah. So if you have a Tibetan restaurant, ask for Tibetan tea.
Who was in your mind when you reached the base from your people?
Yeah, it's a good question. Actually, when I was walking, and sometimes I found myself walking solitary, so then I would think of, actually I was thinking of the north and of Inuit, my fellow Inuit. Yeah, so I was thinking, I wanted to share that experience, say what it was like, and I did think of Inuit, yes. Not all the time, but... Hi.
So what impact has this had on your perspective on life and so on?
I'm not sure if it had a direct impact. I think when I look at the impact that I had, it's from karate. Because karate taught me focus and to concentrate on a goal and to achieve something. And I think that was kind of a side, one of the positive impacts that it had on me. And that's, I think it's karate that helped me to set that goal of doing the half marathon and running 2-3 times a week in order to reach a run of 21 kilometers, which is amazing, which I never thought I would ever be able to do. So today people still ask me, do you run? Are you still running? No, I'm not still running. I'm doing karate. It seems less interesting. It seems less interesting to be a karateka, a practicing karate person, than a runner. I don't know why. I think karate is more exciting. I get to fight. But it did have a very positive impact. Yeah. Yeah, and people still ask me about it, even though it happened 6 years ago. Yeah, people still ask me, Inuit still ask me about it. They think it's amazing. And I think it's amazing too.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.